I wanted to do this because I don't like. At first, I actually felt bad about doing this because of the fact that it's like it made me sound like I'm gatekeeping nerddom, nerd behavior, and nerd culture. But it's like no, I realized like I've been considered a nerd for like a long time, and I realize now that after seeing what being a nerd has become nowadays, like being a nerd has ultimately became its own universe. And pardon my gear, I came back from an interview, and I kind of just sort of you know I kind of just threw something on afterwards, so I'm just feeling really relaxed right now. But yeah, so it's like I'm gatekeeping my version of nerddom because being a nerd nowadays has become just a word. Back like it became so big it's small now, if that makes sense. Like it became a universe, so now everybody it became so massive that it became a universe that everybody just sort of feels like they include to feel like they're including themselves in. And like and I personally don't like that. And it's like it sounds like I know this is like my worst take, and I understand this, so just bear with me here. Like I said, it became his own universe. So if being a nerd is now his own universe, I am putting my little I'm getting my own pocket universe here of what it is. Like in other words, these are things that I personally don't think are nerds. Okay, like first off, if you're a nerd and you're a bigot, you're not a nerd to me. I would not. Anybody else can probably say, "Oh yeah, you're definitely a nerd because you're smart." Blah blah blah. But no, I like because if you could recite prime numbers in order from like one to the biggest prime number you can find, then like in my opinion, but you also think that like a guy in a dress is considered like somebody to mock, then I don't think that you're a genius for knowing the prime numbers. I think you're an a hole for mocking another person for no reason. You know what I'm saying? It's just stuff like that. Like if I don't believe that bigots can be nerds, and I know it's a controversial statement, but it's like when I was growing up, being a nerd meant you wore glasses, you had maybe crazy hair, you had a pocket protector, you were also really smart, and you was like really smart to a point where you were a borderline mechanical engineer before you even got out of like high school, and you were a genuinely nice person. That was what being a nerd was for me. You were smart, you were a little weird looking, but you were also really nice to people. You was cool to people. Like when I was introduced to the concept of being a nerd through television, through fiction, and the whole concept of being a nerd was you weren't you couldn't be a jerk because you were too busy being picked on by jerks. You know what I mean? And then at some point, I'm guessing that the rules changed. So now you got people out here being jerks while also claiming to be nerds, which I just don't like. I don't get that. Like I said, how are you gonna say that you're a nerd, and how are you gonna say that you are a nerdy person, and and understand that concept of how much bullies suck, and then be like, yeah, but I'm also gonna pick on people for no reason. That makes no sense to me. So yeah, if you're like I hate and there's also this little thing where it's like actually I'm only bullying people who bully other people. Then you're not a bully. You're a hero. I understand that in the nerd community now, being a heroic person is actually considered a bad thing because actually heroes are always going to be the villains and villains are always going to be the heroes because villains are cool. No, 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 no. If you are helping someone who is being marginalized, you're not a bad person for that. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much you want to be a bad person, because well, the person that I'm hassling somebody else thinks I'm a bad person, so I'm the villain. Actually, no, you're not. You're a good person who is helping someone who is being marginalized. You know what I mean? Like that's like sorry to bust your bubble. You're actually a good guy. So it's like but it's so weird that people want to be evil nowadays that they're willing to just say all the good stuff is evil and all the good evil stuff is good. It's just like like imagine it's like I hate the idea that when it comes to being a nerd is like it means you're smart enough to turn something stupid into something smart, but you're gonna ignore all the smart things. You know what I'm saying? I just don't get that. You know what I mean? It's like so it's like yeah, I don't think bigots can be nerds. So if you're an alpha male and you call yourself a nerd just because you used to be ugly in school and girls didn't suit, it's like that doesn't mean you were a nerd. That just means you were physically unattractive. You know what I'm saying? If you call yourself if you are if you're a right winger and you call yourself a nerd, then you just completely you just like watching fiction simply because you think the lights are cool and the sounds are loud. You're not paying attention to the actual message because in a lot of the fiction that has been portrayed, you're the bad guy. Like almost unapologetically. Like there is way too many instances where the right wingers are the bad guys in every like form of fiction. So it's just like it's a little weird to me. So it's like I mean like there's this point right now. I'm in this group right now. I'm in this group, for nerds, for people who call themselves nerds. I'm gonna say that. And there's people out there who literally like proudly state that they don't like reading and they don't like math. It's like being a nerd actually means that I just like fiction. What do you like about the fiction? Because if it's about the fights, if it's just the fights and the boobs, then you're missing the whole point. Like Superman is a story about immigration, technically. Nuh-uh, it's about Superman punching bad guys in the face and flying. This is actually a conversation I've had with somebody who calls themselves a nerd. It's like technically speaking, like Dragon Ball Z is just a retelling of the story of Sun Wukong. They just happen to add a couple of Japanese elements up into it, like hard work, determination, and they also added a little bit of Superman up in there because the main character came to Earth and he was initially supposed to destroy all this other. It's like there's so many ways you could actually like depict these things, and all these guys want to do is say, no, actually, Dragon Ball Z is just a show about fighting. That's it. Nothing more. It's just fighting. You call yourself a nerd, bro? Do you know what Sun Wukong is, bro? It's like Power Pole, Magical Nimbus. He has the tail. He acts like a monkey. His name is literally Son Goku. Like, anything? Nothing? No, bro, it's just fighting. These are nerds. Like, not to me, dude. I can't, like... It's like, like, I'm sorry, but it's like, they also love to use this stupid line of, it's not that deep, bro. It's just fiction, bro. It's just a cartoon, bro. Every story has a message. Every story has a message. Even if the message is, this character is cool, there's a message there. And I'm just aggravated at the fact that it's like, these are the people who, like, like I said, when I was growing up, people called me a nerd just because I wore glasses. That was it. That was it. I wore glasses, and everybody was like, "Ha, you're black, you wear glasses, you're Steve Urkel." To which I used to like go against that because like I'm not Steve Urkel, my name's Manny. But now I'm like I would love to be Steve Urkel because that dude knows how to make robots. I am just now trying to teach myself mechanical engineering, and I still don't know anything about this stuff. You know what I mean? It's like I wish I was as smart as Steve Urkel. But the fact of the matter is that like it's just aggravating to me that it's like there's people in the nerd community who ignore messaging, ignore like the messages in ignore the messages in fiction, or they're bigots, or they don't like writing, or they don't like reading, or they don't like they don't like math, they're not creative. All they want to do is talk about like who's like actually no, this is better than that, and that's they want to have argument for like the same argument for 20 years over who could win in a fight between Goku and Superman or whatever. Or actually Batman is not even that good because he's a fascist. Okay, is there anything do you know who Deadman is? Can we talk about another character besides Batman or Superman? Can we talk about plots? Can we talk about stories? Can we talk about the references between current form, like storylines in real life, because a lot of real life actually do inspire a lot of the fiction. Can we talk about those things? Or would you just rather talk about how much you hate Batman for the billionth time? Would you want to talk about Superman for how much you hate Superman for the billionth time because he's a Boy Scout? Like, he's also an alien from outer space. Like, why don't we talk about that more? Let me guess, you think that Superman is just a white dude who can fly, huh? Like, these people call themselves nerds, bro. Like I say, I know that I know I sound like a terrible person, and I know I sound like I'm gatekeeping nerddom, which is why I'm not saying that these people aren't nerds. I'm saying these people aren't nerds to me. To me, specifically to me. I'm not gonna put them in the same category as people. Like I'm not gonna put these people in the same category with some of the greatest minds on our planet. You know what I mean? Because nerds, they know that like the world has too many problems to try to add on to the problem. Whereas bigots and bullies and all these other people, they don't care about the problems at hand, and they just want to make more problems because it's funny. Like I can't put like I say, as I said in my last video, these are two planets that I just can't mesh together, bro. It's two planets, they're too big. You know, I'm moving my hands around a lot because I'm very passionate about this. But it's just like I like I said with me when it comes to being a nerd, I feel like being a nerd means being smart. And bullies and bigots are dumb as hell. I'm not. And I like you can't be. I feel like you can't be dumb and smart at the same time. But people are like, well, actually you can. Actually, you can be dumb and smart at the same time because you could be really smart at something and really dumb at something, and that still means that you're a nerd. Not to me, bro. Because there's being dumb and then there's being a bigot. There's being dumb and then there's being a bully. There's being dumb and then there's being a cruel person who wants to hurt people for no. There's being helpful and then there's being hurtful. You can't be helpful and hurtful at the same time because even if you just happen to be like somebody is, because like you can get a shot. The shot hurts. The shot hurts right now, but it's gonna help later. You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's being helpful and hurtful at the same time. But at some point, the hurt goes away and the help stays there. You know what I mean? So it's like the hurt is brief too. You know, I'm still referring to the shot. And that's my issue. That's my problem, man. Like I said, that's why I'm not gatekeeping nerddom as far as like a universal concept. If you want to call yourself a nerd, even though you think that being a bigot and being a Trump supporter, being a sociopath or being a bully, if you want to call yourself a nerd while you still got all that other stuff going on, be my guest. Just know that you can't sit at my table. Just know you can't hang out with me. Just know I'm not going to consider you a nerd. I'm just going to consider you a bigot with enough free time to partake in something that you probably don't really get. I'm very frustrated about this, as you can obviously tell. I've been having like discussions about this like for the past couple of days now, and like that's what I'm saying. Like if you can recite all the periodic table elements in order, in alphabetical order, but you also think that like I should be in prison just because of my skin color, I'm not gonna think that you're a smart person. I'm gonna think that you're a bigoted sociopath with a lot of free time to be able to do the stuff that you're doing. I'm not gonna be like, wow, that guy is so smart. I'm gonna be like, why? Like this guy's an a-hole. I don't care that he knows how to list the periodic elements in order. He's an a-hole. He's a jerk. I mean, like, what else can he know? Well, he has 2 degrees and he also knows how to create a rocket ship. If he knows how to do all that, then why does he hate me? Why does he hate us so much? What's going on there? That makes no sense. Like, I judge knowledge by how many people you help and by how many people, like by how much good you do. If you're not a good there's going to be people in a decade from now that's going to be trying to write articles about how Trump was the best president ever or the smartest person to ever live or some crap like that. And he's not. Like we're all living in this current time frame right now where we're seeing this guy make mistake after mistake after mess up and ruination after ruination. But somewhere down the line, somebody is gonna try to do a propaganda piece about how awesome he was because of the silly stuff that they could find about him, and they're gonna like try to make it seem like he was a genius too. I'm not gonna fall for that, and neither should you. I also say this, there's good influence and then there's bad influence. There's influence and then there's influence for stupidity. Because you can't influence a stupid person to do anything good, but you can influence them to do terrible stuff all the time. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, stupidity is a superpower in America because stupidity leads to evil, which for some people, I feel like the best way to sort of reverse this wave of stupidity is to find a way to convince stupid people to do good things that convince stupid people that doing good things is easier than doing bad things. If you can get stupid people to do good things instead of bad things, then America as a nation will probably improve for the better. Well, you ain't gonna convince them to, do anything good if you're gonna keep calling them stupid. Then, yeah, maybe stop being stupid. If you're gonna tell me to get good at life, because I'm going through actual problems myself, then I'm gonna tell you to quit being stupid and do good things. Different, same, like same energy, bro. I don't know where I was going with this. Love and peace, y'all. See y'all next week, if not in a couple of days. I don't know. I don't know yet. Also, how do I look without without the mustache and the beard? I always think my face is fatter than it actually is. So, just leave a comment below if you liked it or whatever. Also, please, by all means, like if you, I'm really glad to know that I'm getting more subscribers and stuff like that, and I'm really happy to see that I'm getting a little bit of reaction here. But like, I like to know what I'm doing right. You know what I mean? And don't be like, oh no, you're actually doing everything right. It's like, no, be specific. I want to read some paragraphs, y'all. Like, hook a brother up. I love the love, but also let a brother know you love him. You know what I'm saying? So I can love you back. All right, y'all be easy. 444 subscribers. That is great.